Hi, I'm Chris Ross, Principal of Mindflow Design. I'd like to talk to you about the positive dividends of design and how great design impacts the bottom line of successful companies. Design-driven companies outperform others on the stock market by 93%. 250 companies well known for their strategic investments in design found they outperformed key stock indices by 200%. Folks, this doesn't just happen by itself. This type of impact requires a design strategy that comes from the top and permeates the rest of the company. There's a growing trend of designers or design thinking in the top ranks of the most successful companies. Companies like Apple and Dyson are good examples of very successful design-led companies. So what is design? Design is more than aesthetics, styling, and beauty. Great design is a smile on this gentleman's face when he drives his Tesla. Experiences, interactions, and delight are really the foundation. At Mindflow Design, we have the words people, user experience, and product physically posted on the walls throughout our studio to remind our clients and internal teams about the importance of these foundational elements. I'd like to cover 3 subjects today. First one, what is a design strategy and why have one? Second, what are 3 key elements of a good design strategy? And third, how can you apply these to your business? I'd like to discuss design strategy and its role in a business. You'll recognize this illustration as a typical company hierarchy. The business strategy is created by the executive team, and the other business functions align with it and carry out the strategy. Well, here's where design strategy lives. Business strategy owns design strategy, and other functions from the business need to align with that design strategy. This is how you get great design to permeate every part of your company and get out through all the touch points to your customers. Now I'd like to give you 3 examples of elements of good design strategy. First one is know your customer. Second, be consistent. And third, breakthrough versus me too. The first element of a design strategy, know your customer. Not like a demographic, like your brother or sister. Don't be as concerned with how 50,000 people might feel. Focus deeply on how a few interact with the product at every level. Build empathy, understand aspirations of people who use your products or services and their needs, and really with the goal of building emotional connections. Because if people love your products, they'll buy more, right? And they'll tell their friends also, and they'll buy more. At Mindflow Design, we create persona profiles like this one that articulate and visually illustrate those needs and aspirations. This ensures alignment between our internal teams and our clients' teams. We really get to know who the people are that we're designing for. Share it with your team and whole company, or even post these on the walls of your business. We've had clients that blow these up poster size and post them around their businesses on the walls, so all the employees at all different levels start thinking about the specific people who they're creating products for on a daily basis. That empathy is one of the critical elements in a great design strategy. So plan the total user experience, not just how they use your product, but how they hear about it, how they'll buy it, what's the out-of-the-box experience like. When they have problems with their product or service, where do they go to find help? In this example, this gentleman, instead of walking up to a long line in the back of the store, he walked up with the product to the employee who scanned it and then scanned his credit card and sent him on his way, right? Apple is king at this surprise and delight at every level of customer interaction. This is all built into a great design strategy. This stuff doesn't just happen on its own. The second element of a design strategy is be consistent. Sometimes you want to shift people's expectations, but once you have, be consistent. Where do you think the third arrow is going to go in this photo? Surprise and delight, but don't disappoint. Create a common design language. So a design language is a system of sensory cues, visual, tactile, experiential, that bind products to a brand. That's my favorite definition. It's pretty short and concise. I'll show you a few examples of good design language in action and how that supports a greater business strategy and design strategy. So here you can see Breville has a very specific design strategy with a design language underneath of it that can be seen throughout all the details of their products and their family. So this is not just the visual cues you can see up here, but it's also experiential. If you look at the interfaces here, the buttons, the dials, the handles, they all have similarities that tie this brand and this experience together to make it consistent no matter which product you're using of theirs. So design language helps these two companies differentiate in a commodity space such as tools. Look at Makita's blue and black and aggressive styling, and DeWalt's yellow and black and not so aggressive styling. This design language for these companies virtually become IP for them, right? Differentiate them in a commodity, crowded marketplace. This is a sampling of products from a local San Diego company, Life Technologies. These images are from about 5 years ago. Here's what their products look like today. In the past 4 years, they created a new design strategy and new design language that better supports their business goals. You can see the consistent visual aspects that tie the product to the brand and family, but that's just part of the story, really. The real ROI comes from things like increased reliability, safety, reduced time to market, easier to use products that reduce errors. The third element of a successful design strategy is planning for a breakthrough or a Me Too product or service. Bottom line, every company should have a design strategy, even if it's a Me Too business goal. Even if you want to slug it out in a competitive market, you still need a design strategy. The real power is in breakthroughs, and I'd like to show you a few examples of those. So Nest has reimagined the home thermostat. They've created an entire ecosystem of products that are connected, whose sum is much more useful than its individual parts. The ROI is differentiation in a crowded commodity market space. And the metric of success in this example is $3.2 billion of Google's money when they acquired Nest not too long ago. Is this a mop or is this a broom? Swiffer created an entirely new way of cleaning, a new way of thinking about cleaning. This was a user-driven solution, so it's one of my favorites. The company basically observed the way people use similar cleaning products and found there was an unmet need, something that neither a mop or a broom satisfied. And they translated those needs into a product solution, the Swiffer. This was a clear breakthrough because they created a new market in a mature industry. The third example of a breakthrough I'd like to share is how Airbnb disrupted an entire industry. If you haven't heard of Airbnb, they're basically a website that connects people who want to rent out a property with people who want to rent it. You might ask, so how's this connected to design strategy? Well, it was founded on the principles of design thinking. It wasn't just 7 years ago that a young industrial designer used to drive down to Mindflow Design to consult on some of our larger design projects with some of our clients. That young designer was Brian Chesky, founder and CEO of Airbnb. He used a user-centered design approach for identifying a problem and creating a business strategy that solved it. Over $800 million in VC funding to date proves that value of aiming for a breakthrough. So in conclusion, ask yourself, what is my business strategy, and is my design strategy supporting it? Am I getting good ROI from my design efforts? What are my results like? What can I do to improve ROI with design? Is my design execution tactical or strategic? Have I chosen the right approach? Bottom line, for better ROI, every business needs a design strategy. So if you have any questions, please contact me. Here's my email address and phone number, and I'd love to chat with you.